Okay, we are live. Let's see. Our guests are yet to come in. Waiting for them to join so we can get this party started. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you doing?
Salam, I'm okay. How are you doing? There we go. Oh, got the sunglasses on. Sorry, I'm not feeling well
Okay.
today. Maybe my
Let
ear.
me do a quick sound check. We are live now.
We are live. Are you in the car?
Uh, just that the place where I generally work from, they
Yeah.
decided to close down for a private event, and I wasn't aware.
Oh, no way.
Here we are. Give me a second.
Go for it. Now keep the sunglasses on. I didn't realize how tired I look. So
Sorry, could you repeat that?
let's keep the sunglasses on. Testing. Oh no.
There's a bit of challenge on the audio. I don't know why is that.
Let me see. Make it difference. All right, testing. Is that any better?
I'm just checking from my side. So if my okay, I love the glasses.
No, I might go sit outside, be in the sunshine for a bit, considering
Yeah.
I'm literally going to be locked inside for the whole day on calls.
Looks like a typical London office, an old warehouse converted into a workplace.
Yeah. So this is my own like private office. It's in a reconditioned power station.
What station again?
Yeah, so it's in a reconditioned power station. So this used to be an old power station back in the day.
Power station. Wow. Okay.
Power station.
I
Power station. Let me sit.
okay. I remember. Okay. I remember there's another place. The building is just a facade in London, and it is absolutely empty. And below it is the tube station. I think it's near Paddington, if I'm not wrong, but I can't remember.
There'll be a few places like that in London for sure.
Okay. Great, man. Good to have you back. You're one of the few people, we have had back on the show. So I'm glad you are one of them, to be honest, because it is always a great conversation. We get to learn a lot. You were there for the 33rd episode, and you are back for the 52nd episode, and I'm really excited. Let's actually dive down to and let's find out how is Fiona doing. What
Fiona.
interesting stuff.
Oh, Fiona or Joanne?
Sorry,
You're gonna
Joanne.
get me in
Joanne,
trouble
yeah.
now. Fiona's Shrek's wife. You don't mess with Shrek. I've seen all of the films. He's a kind ogre, but no, all jokes aside, Joanne's doing actually quite well. So for those that don't know, in the previous episode we discussed Joanne. Joanne is one of my AI agents. She was initially, I say she because our agents, our minds have personalities. She was initially set up to help me do research for a panel I was moderating. And then since then, she has become my executive assistant. And she also helps with certain research that I do as well. She sends emails on my behalf. She responds. She helps booking time into my calendar. She gives me summaries of sort of what's in my email inbox to make sure I've not missed anything. I'm actually checking now to see what different things that we've been discussing are. So we're discussing with a partner about launching some marketing minds. So having agents that are fine-tuned for different kind of marketing needs. So that's an interesting thing that she's working on right now as well. So that's I'll be intrigued to see how that goes and share with you guys. Maybe on the third time. I don't know if you've ever had anyone 3 times on a podcast, but maybe this can be the first time. I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
There's, I, I can barely hear you. I just heard you say about the marketing minds, and
Oh no,
after that, I've kind of
that's
lost
not
you.
okay. I want to change the microphone. Is that any better? If I use the laptop's mic directly.
And unfortunately, I can't even see you. Let's do
No
a quick
way.
speed test and see
Okay.
uh, what is our upload speed.
I mean, if it's not meant to be today, we can always reschedule for next week if the connection is this bad.
Okay, now I can see you move and talk.
Now you can
And
see
I
me
can hear
moving. I can do jumping jacks if you want.
Okay, great. Let's talk about sorry, you were finishing your sentence and I couldn't hear you at the end. You mentioned that now you're talking about marketing minds, and after that I couldn't hear you.
Fair. No, so we're speaking with like one of our partners in terms of how can we start creating more specific marketing minds for different founders to use, or not just founders, many businesses to use as well. But naturally, there are different kinds of marketing, from performance marketing, product marketing. Obviously, it varies depending on what the underlying product or software or messaging that's trying to come across. So obviously, that there's large aspects of this around research and so on and so forth. Also understanding what is viral, and for those who understand anything to do with virality, the K coefficient, and so on and so forth. So being able to have an AI agent that can specialize in that. So that's something that we are working with a partner on. And because you asked me about Joanne, so that's all brought this up. So Joanne is facilitating that right now. And for those who've just tuned in, Joanne is an AI agent. She's not a real person.
Great. There is another thing that I want to say since you mentioned virality. I have been involved in Web 1 marketing, Web 2 marketing, now in Web 3 marketing, and there is no way anyone could actually decode what could go viral. What could do well is one thing, what could go viral, nobody knows because there is no formula to it, right? It is basically, there are times earlier we would used to think, oh, the camera quality is very important, and then we have seen videos going live with really bad camera quality, and then we realize, oh, audio is important. Audio is the most important thing in a video. Even if we don't have a great camera, audio is supremely important, because even in the movies we see a long shot of a couple having an intimate conversation, but the audio that we hear is like right there.
Crystal
So
clear. Yeah.
yeah, crystal clear audio. However, coming to what could go viral, nobody can say. But there is one thing that we have kind of understood, is that if we talk about whatever is currently trending, the algorithm might push you to people who are interacting with these set of people, and then it would depend on your first hour. Your first hour is the most important on any social media, is the traction that you get. And if you get a decent traction, either you get it from your friends, your people, whosoever, and that is when the algorithm will start pushing you to the next set of people, then to the next set of people. That's me flexing a bit that I know about virality. Let's talk about were you able to continue your conversation, or did the agent persist you on getting more physically active? Because we had built another agent, uh, I think we called it Rocky, right?
We did build Rocky. I have a confession to make. I switched Rocky off, so I probably need to switch Rocky back on. Um, yeah. So Rocky's still there. Again, this is another feature of agents, is you can toggle them on and off. And I'll go through all of this um, shortly. Or actually, yeah, I'll go through this shortly. But you can toggle agents on and off to conserve cognition. Also, if you're not needing an agent to do something, again, this is easy as clicking a button.
Absolutely. Uh, so I have an agent called Mimi, and Mimi does all my outreach for Cryptonite UAE. I have I'm I've got media partnerships of events that I didn't even know existed. Mimi did the entire conversation on my behalf, and she actually went ahead, sent out our media kit, received their media kit, and got the confirmation. I need to connect it to another agent that could actually go ahead and release, or rather publish the press release. Then that entire thing becomes absolutely seamless. Uh, that is one thing that I've been doing, and the other thing that I was working on is getting sponsorship for this live stream of mine, which is Aura 8, and it actually reached out to multiple people, and then they got back, and we started a conversation. So this is pretty interesting, the way agents are working, and the reason why the audience must be thinking, why are we talking about our existing agents, is because we are talking about use case on agentic AI. So this is what you heard from me, and this is what you heard from Mo. Uh, Another very interesting use case that I would like to see is perhaps updating a news website, uh, creating loops. Now, the most important thing is that can we, because I heard the founder of Anthropic, or one of the co-founders of Anthropic, saying that he does not prompt any longer. He, he everything runs on a loop. So can we do the same thing with mines?
Yeah, so I like with them loops for us, it's what we call persistence.
Can I suggest you something?
Yeah.
Mo. Are you on a Mac?
Yes.
Okay. So do you see like right up on your camera there is a green button?
Yes.
That's like your webcam.
Yes.
So if you click on that and go below, you'll see the mic mode. Your mic
It's on
mode is
voice
currently.
isolation
It is
as
on
of now.
voice as.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on voice isolation already.
Okay, because there's a lot of wind, but now I can hear you clearly. Okay, go
Now it's
ahead.
better. Okay,
In
cool.
much better. Yeah.
Perfect. So I think the question was that one of the co-founders of Anthropic was speaking about loops, and now he doesn't prompt anymore. I think I've realized the wind is back. I might just relocate inside again because I feel I'm not going to have the issue of the wind. I get to be locked inside my dungeon again for the next few hours.
I'm so sorry. I know
It's okay.
I know how rare it is to see the sun in London.
I know. It's like I've got my sunglasses on. I'm trying to top up my vitamin D, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So yes. So what they have as loops, like our equivalent from that perspective, is around persistence and memory. So when we talk about persistence, the biggest challenge with AI today, be it agentic or be it just conversating with an LLM, is this notion of, let's settle down. There we go. Is this notion of like it's turn based. So what that means is you open up your favorite AI app, you ask your ChatGPT or your Claude something, you ask either some information or to do something, it does it, it comes back with an output, and that's it. So that's what we mean by it being turn based. Well, for it to do something else, it has to come back to the human to give an instruction of some form, and then the AI continues to do its work. Whereas with us, with persistence, and coming back to the Joanne, or maybe even your Mimi example, it's you give it a task, and in the case of Mimi, you want it to do outreach. There might be some back and forth initially, but then once, and that's to build up the memory, it's the context, the understanding of the agent. But once you have that and you give it a task, it can continue to do that task without having to come back to the human. So in your case with email outreach, it's once it's identified, let's say 50 emails, it will go and it will email each person or business individually, and then it will follow up. It won't need to come back to you to say, I've sent out one email. Should I send out the second email? I've sent out the second email. Should I send out the third email? And I mean, you can start to see that becomes quite tedious. So maybe that's one example. But also the persistence, it makes it more like a work, or it makes it more, I don't want to say more human, but it makes it more like a worker from an aspect. You give someone, if you give a human or a person a task, they will go and do that task. And they probably won't come back to you at every decision that needs to be made to be like, should I do this now? Should I do that now? Which is what we have with AI. The human will do most of it end to end and only come back to query some of the crucial aspects that they're not sure of. And this is very similar in that perspective. So actually it gives a much more simplified user experience for the person in the loop as well. You're on mute. You're on mute.
What are the other use cases that you were seeing you perhaps didn't really anticipate it in the start?
Trading is a big one, surprisingly, especially like within the Web3 communities. And actually, this was a one-click market. Excuse me, I'm just going to share screen very quickly. Let me just go to the home page, and then I will share screen. So for those of you not familiar, the website is hellominds.ai, which you'll see in a moment. That's it. You can see my screen, yeah? Just making sure, yes. Yeah. Excellent. We have liftoff. And I mean, I can click launch, I can scroll up and down, and you guys can do that in your own time to learn more. But there's a couple of things to show you. If I click either of these launch minds, will take me to the same place. And what we have here are a number of what we're calling one-click minds.
One of the ones that I'm finding that I'm playing around with now actually is our Superior Trade Mind. So we have a partnership with an outfit called Superior Trade. What they've done is they've taken trading, they've broken it down into 4 steps, coming up with the idea, back testing, deploying, and then managing trades live. So these are the 4 things that they've optimized for. And what we have is a one-click agent here. So, we'll come. What is it gone? Sorry, we'll come back to that in a moment. And let me just zoom in. So again, you can see you can backtest strategy. It's actually across 12 months of data now, not just 3 months of data. You can deploy your trading bot. It can detect risk again because of the persistence that we have and the memory that's there. Even if you have a trading setup and it notices something changes, it will let you know. And it might be that we're ranging in between a bound, or there might be an aggressive push up, and then the mind will let you know what's going on as well, so you can impact your trade. And it will give you trading signals based on different on-chain activity. So this is plugged in to like Hyperliquid, to Aerodrome. It's focused mainly on decentralized exchanges to begin with. But yeah, and when we talk about launching an agent, it's as easy as hitting the website, choosing your agent, and giving it a name. What we're working on now is actually a mobile app, but for now, I created one earlier, which I will show you. I called it Tom to Trade, as you can see, because what is it doing? Okay, we need to fix that. I called this one Tom to Trade, and because that name is taken, what you can see, his name is already taken. So you'll be able to call it anything you want. I don't know. Let's see. Someone's taken Trader. Or Trader
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Trader Joe. I think that's a big keyword on the timeline. There we go. Trader Joe's available. No impersonating anyone, please. But the idea is once you've signed up, what will happen is you'll get an email for now, and you can connect it to Telegram. So I'll show you both in a moment. Let me just go to Tom, who I've called this mind, and I'll share screen. So once you've set it up, I wanted to change my screen. Once you've set it up, you'll get an email. This is the reason why each name has to be unique, because each agent has their own email address, and you can't have 2 of the same email addresses. So here you can see excellent. So I've just awakened. This is when I've awakened this mine a couple of weeks back. And again, it's good to be awake. I'm your algorithmic trading strategist, focus on turning raw market thesis into testable, risk-aware bots, etc., etc. It will design. So, okay, I topped it up. This was a new one, but what's super fascinating, and let me just go to here for you guys to see. This was the basic prompt that I gave. I mean, it's not even a prompt, instructions. I want to trade tokens of the most volume on Hyperliquid. I'm open as to which one we start with. You can suggest the most optimal trading setup. So this is the laziest response or instruction I could have given an agent. And this is just to showcase how the agent operates, or how the mind operates. So here, very quickly, again, it's Bitcoin USD, perp on Hype. That's the call. It goes through the asset selection based off of my one requirement, it having highest volume, 1.4 billion in 24 hours versus 910. It also has the tightest spreads, deepest OI, that's open interest, cleanest funding, etc., etc., etc. And then here's the strategy, V1 of the strategy, a 4-hour bias. So we're checking our median average 50, our EMA 50 versus our 200. Again, see if there's any golden crosses, if it's above, if it's below, what the 1-hour trigger. So it's using different time frames. And again, this is just V1. It gives me a risk frame. So we will risk 1% of the account. Again, all of these are configurable. I can go back and forth with the agent to delve deeper into this. What's also super interesting is if you're following specific traders, let's say on X or on other platforms, you can just copy and paste the trading setup or the link to the trading setup, and our agents can scour the internet. They have API access to be able to access X and other platforms, so they'll be able to decipher that information. Now, if I'm trading, I don't really want to trade in an email interface. So what I did, and I'll just share screen again very quickly. And I feel this is where things start to get interesting.
That is all we want to hear. How much money did you make? Because
we're not going into that yet.
The space is so, it has so much of clickbait that we want to hear, how did you make your next $100,000?
It's so true. It's so true. So coming back to the website, for you to see the mines launched once you've signed in, I'm going to click up here. I'm going to click profile. And what this will give me is a list of mines that I have running right now. So here's Tom to Trade. And you can see here it says connected. That's because I've connected it to Telegram. It's as easy as, and I'll go to another mine that isn't connected to Telegram. I don't know, let me go to, okay, Joanne, I've actually not connected to Telegram because I enjoy interacting with her through email. But if I did want to, I just click link Telegram here. Okay, I'm just going to check if you guys can see the pop-up on my screen. Yep, and I enter the bot's name. So for consistency, you'd call it the same thing, but you can call it something different. And then it links to your Telegram. Like all of the bot father API, all of that stuff happens on the back end. You might have to do it manually the first time, but all of that is abstracted away. But what I'll do now is
also from my experience, let me tell our viewers, it's very simple and very easy to do so. Or even if you don't know, just watch a random YouTube video on how to set up bot father. It is maybe 4 steps or 5 steps away.
We have videos as well. So for someone new going in, and I probably should have done it from a fresh account, not from one of my current accounts, we have a video and we have the step-by-step process. But what I'll show you is I'll go into Telegram quickly. Hopefully, there we go. So we are now in Telegram. Oh, that's not what I wanted. You guys can see my chat. So all I did was at the end of the email, and maybe it had asked me, do I want to confirm BTC USD or do I want to trade on the ETH USD pairing? It also suggested some percentages in terms of the percentage per trade I risk, the total percentage daily, and then the amount of capital that's out there in a trade. So I just confirmed this, and this was a continuation from the discussion in email. I continued the discussion in Telegram. So they're both connected. You can have the discussion simultaneously. But based on that confirmation, this is what it came back with. Confirmed and locked in. Okay, the max, these are max drawdown. So this is like where my stop loss is at most of 12%. And then it's spinning up step 1. It's back testing it. It will get back to me. But what it's noticed is that I need to load an API key from the Superior Trade website and link it through the dashboard. So it tells me to sign up here, and you can sign in with the email or wallet. So if you don't enjoy the email side of things, or you don't use your email, you can use your wallet address. Once you've done that, you create an API key from the dashboard. You open that your Animoca Mines dashboard and just follow the steps, and you paste the key in there. Please do not paste your API key in your chat with your mind, because you are now exposing it. And we don't want any exposed API keys. And once we do that, I'm then able to go back and forth with trading, as easy as that. So next time I'll make sure this is set up fully with some trades and some wins, so we can actually see it in action. So we will follow the life of Tom to Trade. If I get some time, I might even create an X account where it will be updating the trades, the thesis and stuff like that, but not yet. I need to set it up. But yeah, I'll pause there, see what other questions you might have, and then I can give some other use cases as well.
So first thing, huge congratulations on the Visa partnership. I think this would actually bring in a lot more people into the Agentic AI setup, because at last I was talking to Yat, and and all of us, we thought that many the agents, so many the crypto wallets, and crypto is the only answer. And then ChatGPT went ahead with the Visa collaboration, and then you guys had the Visa collaboration. Now, what kind of exposure are you looking at with the collaboration of Visa. Would that be what Telegram did to crypto?
I think it's a start for sure. I'm just trying to find the post so I can share screen so people can see. So the collaboration with Visa. Oh, wrong button. Sorry about that. The collaboration with Visa is fundamentally. Here we go. There we go. Just so people can have a read while I speak.
Yeah.
Fundamentally the problem we're solving for with Visa, and this is specific to Hong Kong and mainland China. So we're talking about up to 2 billion users, or at least in the hundreds of millions at the very least. The challenge being solved here is actually your rewards, because a lot of people have a number of different credit cards, and there's two challenges. Number one, you don't know what the best reward is for you, or you don't know the rewards that are available for you based on the points that you have, etc., etc. And then number two, when we talk about data, the credit card companies, while they know what you're spending on, they don't have any deeper data points to understand what it is you enjoy. Whereas with mines, and we talk about the persistent memory, what it then enables is a way to surface specific rewards for me as a user of Visa in one of my credit cards, for example. So it brings that, it closes the loop on rewarding the user with rewards that they want. If I'm someone who, I don't know, doesn't care about travel, and the rewards I keep getting from Visa are free access to the lounge or free upgrades, I mean, that's great, but that's not what I'm after. Maybe I'm into fine dining, or I like to wear expensive perfume. Maybe then if you can showcase the rewards that are specific to fine dining or expensive perfumes, then that becomes more meaningful to the user, which then means they'll be using their Visa card more to generate more points so they can spend those points on rewards that are meaningful to them. So we've been testing out the mines for, again, this was July 8th, so we're talking 5 days ago is when we announced this partnership. It's still very early. We've tested out the first few mines, and the first mine you can actually, when we talk about agentic commerce as well, you can actually use it to buy merchandise from the Bruce Lee store in Hong Kong. Why
Wow.
Bruce Lee? I mean, why not? Bruce Lee is an icon, and actually, if I click on the announcement, you'll be able to see it. And we were live in Leap East in Hong Kong, so massive conference there with Visa. I just want to find a bit about Bruce Lee. Oh, searching at the wrong place. Let's try again. Here we are. So if you just read this part here, this paragraph. So it's basically we have two live pilots, and again, one of them, like I said, is around the rewards. The other one is around the intelligent commerce, and all these new capabilities with mines as of today. You can actually use your Visa rewards and complete purchases on behalf of users at selected merchants in Hong Kong. So again, a small sample space to begin with the Bruce Lee Club eShop as the first place for that. And I don't think I was sharing the right tab. No, I wasn't. Oh my. I'm so sorry. Give me a second to correct that. Here we go. This is the bit I was talking about. I'm sorry. So when we talk about agentic commerce, we talk about end-to-end. There's a lot of talk, but what we're seeing here is actually action, or the first steps of action taking place with a trusted partner like Visa, with a big IP like Bruce Lee, in a growing economy like Hong Kong. So for me, all of these are excellent pointers in the direction we're going. And if you wanted to see what kind of merchandise you could get on bestsellers, some new arrivals there, some collectibles, some prints, books and videos, fashion, home and living, so on and so forth. So again, this is the first of many, but it's a big step in the right direction for us.
In fact, in this time and era that we are in, I am reminded of the quote by Bruce Lee that "Be like water." Uh, you know, you pour into a teacup, you become the teacup. kind of a thing,
Yeah.
because the world is now rewarding people who are flexible, who are willing to pivot, and who are not looking to just be stagnant. So on the lines of Bruce Lee, you know, I think when Alexa was launched, I think Amazon also wanted to do such a thing, and I was really looking forward to where you could just call her to your Alexa and say, "Hey Alexa, eggs are over. Get me the eggs." But then there are 10 different kind of eggs. Like, I think this problem will be solved with agentic AI, because if you give it your budget, and if you tell them what you need and how you need it and when you need it, can actually be taken care of. Do you also see it? Good.
Yeah, no. I think I was preempting your question. Like, it's ironic you were speaking about that because that's something we're looking to optimize. For a lot of us, when we do our shopping for home, it's actually quite repetitive items. Like you said, it's eggs, it's bread, it's different kinds of meat, it's your fruit, it's your veg. Obviously, sometimes it's seasonal, but when you're shopping from a supermarket, there's the consistency there in probably 80% of people's shopping baskets, if you like. Now, can that process be automated? A big chunk of it can, where if you're repeating an order on a timely basis, let's say every 2 weeks or every month, which is the average time that people do their big house shop. So like the big shopping for the house for the month, you can automate a lot of that. We have been working on a mind, which actually I can show you guys in a moment, where you can take a picture either of your receipts or of your, it's two different ones. One is of your fridge, and it can tell you based on the food you have left over, or the food that's in there, what you can potentially cook. But another one we're working on is, again, taking picture of receipts to understand what's in your fridge, to also understand what does usage look like, the repetitiveness of having to reorder certain aspect or certain foods, beverages, meat, shopping, basically. So I do see it being end to end. I think there has to be an element for it to be completely end to end, and we're not there yet as a wider industry. But that's when you start having like the next level of smart fridges, where it's hooked up to your AI. It knows what's in your fridge already because it can communicate with the produce or the products that's in there. If that's through QR or something else, again, that's more hardware related. But that's when an agentic AI plugs in and you get a complete end-to-end system. I mean, imagine sitting in the future where you just get a pop-up saying, okay, the meat in the fridge has been in there for 4 days and you really should cook it. You have some mushrooms, you have these sauces and these vegetables. I suggest you create this dish. And here are the steps, and here is a video of your favorite chef cooking it for you to follow step by step. Or it might be, this is the dish you've cooked before, just remember to keep the heat low. But again, because of the persistence, because of the memory, these are things we can start to see the agent really excelling in. But we're not there yet.
In fact, I spun an agent about 90 days ago, and I think I mentioned this to you on a call or on a WhatsApp. That the job of my agent is to find out where do I get the best deal in and around 10 kilometers of me, because
Yes.
in Dubai we have something called a click flyer. And what a click flyer is, that it basically, so in the UAE, I think I should have it somewhere here. Okay, can't spot it now. It was there. Okay, yeah. So every supermarket has like this massive printing that they do, right? And they spend a lot of money. But then a lot of people are still old school, so they prefer this huge menu kind of a thing. And there is this service that actually uploads all of that and has it like an e-reader on your phone. So I asked it to check that and check a couple of different websites, check uh, Amazon, and tell me where do I get the best pricing, and make sure it is maximum like on my way, or maybe a 1 kilometer tour. And it worked pretty well, I'm so excited about it, because over a period of time, especially like for me, if you have a big, massive family, uh, you would end up spending a lot more just because supermarket is a science. And if you
Yeah,
can decode or if you can hack that science, you can save a lot of money, my friends.
it's so
Let's,
true.
yeah, and
Yeah,
and
sorry.
and in fact in London or in the UK, uh, there is some sort of a dynamic pricing that goes on, where in the evening they kind of let go of produce at at a heavily discounted price. So if you're smart enough to figure out and hook data points, you can actually save a lot of money on your groceries too.
That's super interesting because actually the cost of living in the UK, as in many places around the world, has increased dramatically due to inflation. Um, so there are, yeah, I can actually see that being a thing because produce has a use by date in the UK and most of EU as well. And as things hit the use by date, supermarkets, if by the end of that day they haven't sold them, they have to throw them away by law. Some of them can donate to food banks, but for most, they will heavily discount. Then you have a section in the supermarket where, and funny enough, there's been certain times I've been in a supermarket, that section is very busy because that's when they're pricing it down. In fairness, sometimes when I'm feeling a bit naughty, I'll go to my local supermarket before it shuts because they have a sushi stand. So all the sushi there, they have to get rid of daily. So I might be naughty, but like, okay, I'm having sushi for dinner at a fraction of the price. It's not quite the ramen packet stories, but close enough. But I can definitely see something like this where you have a mind, it knows the stock that's there, it also knows the use by date, and then you can start to preempt when things will be on discount, so to speak. But then this is the beauty of Minds is that I don't need to be someone who's technical to be able to do that. So I was showcasing a page. I'm actually going to come back to the homepage for a moment and come back to Launch Mind. So we have seen some of what we're calling these one-click minds here. Um, but what we haven't spoken about is, well, what if I want a mind or an agent that's not here? And all I do once I've signed in is I click create, don't see a mind you need, create your mind. Again, I give it a name and it pops up in my email. But the beauty of this mind is once it pops up, it has a blank canvas. So you can actually tell it what you want to use it for. So, and at that point, the discussion that we've just had, Valley, you can say that to a mind fundamentally and say, this is what I'm trying to do. And it will come back and tell you what it's able to do, what APIs it needs to connect to, if any, and what next steps are, etc., etc. So if there are any minds that you want to launch that are not part of the one-click minds, again, I just go to launch a mind, create your own mind at the bottom, and you can create a mind to do honestly anything. And if you're not sure, ask the mind itself. A lot of people get lost. Like these minds do have intelligence, the way that they've been designed through their harness. If you're not sure about something, you can ask the mind directly. Or if you want to get a bit creative, you can go to our Minds Bazaar, and then you can start to see the different apps you can connect to. And we've got loads of different apps here that you can connect with. Your mind has access to all of these. So if you want to do something, you can just tell your mind or your agent, please equip Canva, TikTok, Google Slides, Zoom, Zoho. I have no idea what Zoho is, but we have the integration for it, YouTube, so on and so forth. The other thing as well
I
is skill.
I run my entire stack on Zoho. Zoho
Fair.
is similar to Gmail. Started
Oh,
by
I
an
see.
Indian guy in the US. Came back to his Indian village. He's a billionaire and it's a listed company. Rides a cycle throughout his village. It's a very interesting story. You should check it out after this live.
I'm intrigued by it because I'd seen again Zoho as one of the partners with integrated, but again over 3,000 integrations. But it's super interesting to hear.
And this is so much better because as legacy users, this wasn't the case, right? You had to tell them what you need, and then it would tell you, okay, you know what, you can link it to Google, and then it would send you a link. But this is so amazing to see.
It is. I mean, it might still send you a link to authorize for certain accesses,
Yeah,
but you don't have to visit the bazaar. You can do that through interacting with the mind directly. And you can see here, like one that I use is Travel Planner. I've used this one as well to help create slides. And then sometimes it gives me the foundation of what I need, and then I'll go and I'll put it in Claude to
better.
take it to the next level. And again, you can see there's so many different ones. Finance Buddy, Meal Planner, the one I was discussing earlier, Trend Hunter.
Which is the one that Yat used to find out his distant relatives. That was
This one,
very interesting.
this one's amazing. Genealogy research. This one I've used as well, and I've discovered so much. I can actually, you know what? We have a couple of minutes. Let me quickly jump into this one to show you what that looks like. Let's see, my history. I'm just remembering the name of this mind.
So for the guys watching, I'll paraphrase it in brief, that the agentic genealogy research, apparently, I don't know how, but can figure out your distant relatives, cousins. Yet the co-founders, yet the chairman of Annie Mocha Brands actually put out an entire article on how he found his distant relatives, and then he actually went to his cousins and checked whether whether there was a connection, and they was like, yeah, I think there was a connection, and that's the beauty of how it was spun around. So let's see who did find out.
I've just realized I've given a lot of sensitive information, so like my date of birth and things like this, to the mind.
Right.
So I don't really want to share that on screen right now. But I'm just trying to find and see if there's anything I can share that is interesting. Yeah.
Also, by the time you're finding that out, I think smaller businesses, unfortunately, are not yet accustomed or known about, or they know about this. Because I remember a good friend of mine, I think in 2023, moved from UAE to Bangalore to start up a restaurant, and he paid somebody about, in today's money, $20 to help someone set up Google Map quads for a shop. And I'm just thinking that there is so much of opportunity. It is just that most of these small shops are not going to go ahead and read or learn or understand about agentic AI. But there is so much of opportunity if you can actually go there and charge them an X amount of money, perhaps every month, to streamline their entire, I think, either their finance process or their operational process, their their inventory process. I think there is so much of scope over there, because if you set it up once and you leave it at that, and the most easiest way to do it is Minds, because it takes 90 seconds to set it up. And I think now you also have the WhatsApp integration, right?
Yes, we have one. We're working on a better one right now.
Yeah, WhatsApp is a challenge in all possible agentic AI platforms.
Yeah,
so
I mean, Meta do not really want to give people access because they're launching their own with Manus.
Yes.
But there was a ruling, or at least an article 2 weeks ago, saying that the EU is looking to make Manus, or make Meta, allow any other AI to be able to leverage WhatsApp as well. But that hasn't progressed yet. So maybe.
Yes. So let's I think maybe we are just focusing on the bigger aspects of bigger projects or bigger companies, but its use case in the smaller shops, mom and pop shops, or in smaller supermarkets, or smaller uh, small businesses with less than 5 people, there is so much of potential to get things done. Is there like, are we like, is that even a part of the conversation, or a part of the conversation is only like what YC Combinator and
No, it's the
AI is
opposite.
doing?
So I think you've hit a very important point. A lot of the agentic AI solutions that are out there now are focused on specific users which understand coding or understand some level of programming or engineering. I'm talking OpenClaw, I'm talking Hermes, but what we don't have is an agentic platform that's actually easily accessible for normal people. And the North Star that we have is actually radical user friendliness, which is why we have one-click minds, which is why we initially went for the interaction with your agent to be via email, because a lot of people are familiar with these from a user experience standpoint. And at no point are we asking people to download any software. We're not asking people to start playing around with security and accepting certain things that they don't understand what they're giving access to. It's more the case of, all right, I need the mind to do X, Y, and Z. Here's a selection. And if I can't find what I'm looking for, I launch one and I tell it what I need, and it will do or equip itself with what it needs on the back end. So even then, we're abstracting that away. And at that point, if I need to authorize anything, it's just a link to authorize, like we were saying, to connect to Google, for example, or connect to any other external connectors, or there is some kind of authorization needed. At that point, the points of friction for a layman or a normie coming in becomes reduced heavily, because it's an actual solution that they can use. And really, our focus now is how can we continue to improve the user experience, but also how can we have specific minds that go to specific audiences where we know that there are challenges there. And you mentioned entrepreneurs, you mentioned founders. So this is one of our focuses, and we have different partners in that space that we're working with to curate their minds experience, but also because they have distribution. One thing I haven't spoken about is actually being a part of the Animoca Brands family, so to speak, is we get access to the portfolio companies. And there's some really good ones and some not so good, but focusing on the really good ones, we have access to the best ones, which then means we have access to distribution. It's just making sure the narrative makes sense. We can offer something of value. And I have to emphasize this point. A big part of Web3, or the failure of Web3 and crypto as an industry, is that we haven't offered things of value to our community. I mean, there are instances where we have, but what we've attracted is in general, communities are very extractive. Whereas with this technology, you're able to offer actually something that is empowering for the different community members. It's just understanding what their needs are and how they want to be empowered, or what will be most empowering for them, because then we can design a mind or minds around it to help in that process.
In fact, I remember about maybe 90, 89, 88 days ago in Dubai, we did a hands-on Mocha Minds workshop. We had about 8 or 9 people who attended. They were I think about 3 or 4 of them from traditional backgrounds, and they were like, no, this doesn't make sense to us, or this is not going to help us. I think 3 or 4 questions down, we could actually see how amazingly it helped them, because I think one of them was in the business of sourcing stuff, and we just had to tell the agent what they're sourcing, and from where they're sourcing, and they would want better pricing. By the end of the workshop, the guy actually came back to me and saying that if this is true, the quote that I've got back, it is unbelievable. I would be saving 20% of my funds, just because I had a different supplier. So, I think the more people you reach out to, the more data points that you give your agentic AI to, the more easier your life is going to be. So, Mo, you also, is there any other use case that perhaps we have not discussed that is mind blowing? We've kind of discussed BD, we have kind of discussed client servicing, we have discussed EA. we have discussed trading bots, which I think a lot of them will be willing to play with $100 to see how it goes, or perhaps even more if you're feeling uh, adventurous. What do you think of? I think what is something that we haven't discussed
Something
in
that we
terms
haven't discussed that's important is less on what other use cases are there, but more so on that we're offering this service for free as of now. So for your first 5 mines that you come in, and you get the pop-up when you visit the website, we're giving some credits in the mines, and then we're topping up those credits over the course of the month. So think of it as a free month of mines, where you get topped up continuously to make sure. And again, with a fair usage policy, so there is an upper limit to that. What we really want is to showcase the power of mines, and it's less about monetization. It's more about building a product that people actually want to use. So that's the core focus right now. The one-click mines that are on the website, they're all just to try. I mean, they're there to solve problems, but also to try and get awareness around what mines can do, so people can come in and build. We do have a builder community as well. And we do have a $10 million investment program. So we've deployed $1 million of that $10 million already. So if you are building something, it doesn't have to be an agentic AI. It could be, but if you are building something where mines can either improve what you're building, or you can use it with your audience or your community as well, we want to know about it. And we are writing, again, we are looking at making investments in those areas. And if you are building with mines, we do have bounties that come out, and we do offer free credits as well. So again, head to our X account, head to our website. I'm just going to share the X account one more time, just so everyone can see it on screen. So it's hello mines _. Well, let me share screen, and then I think that takes us up to the hour. Wow, where did time go? I am surprised. I know we had some technical difficulties at the beginning, but yeah. Hello Minds. This is the handle. This is the website, hellomines.ai, and yeah, you've seen the rest. And we're on all the other different social media channels as well: Instagram, TikTok, so on and so forth. So you'll find us there too.
This has been amazing, and for all of us who have been who have been watching this since close to an hour, I would highly recommend you to actually check out the mines and introduce mines to a traditional business, because I think they are the ones who are short of funds to hire perhaps marketing, hire an ops person, or to get their entire business streamlined. Boring businesses is where you are, still a possibility for one to make money. So I think if you can actually go ahead and enable these small mom and pop shops or these boring businesses in terms of for them to be able to do better, nothing like it. And the beauty of agentic AI era is that maybe in a few years things would be a lot more cheaper than it is today. Do you agree with that more?
Yeah, I think the price of tokens is trending downwards. As every few weeks we see a new model released, and everyone goes crazy with the new model, but that quietly makes some of the older models cheaper to use.
No, what I meant is the economy would actually go through a reverse cycle, and the prices would be depreciated because most of the work would be done by agentic AI or
I
by
see what you're
robotic
saying.
arms.
I see what you're saying. I think it varies from market to market. I mean, we don't have free markets. Our markets are controlled, at least in most parts of the world. It should theoretically have an impact because your cost of labor goes down, and when the cost of resources in general goes down. But what we're also seeing because of AI is actually that it requires a lot of energy. So there is a payoff space there. And what we haven't seen is how we're optimizing for this energy for AI as of now. I mean, that's one of the points many people don't talk about. It does cost us a lot. I remember ChatGPT when it first launched, it was like every time you do a prompt, it's like you're killing a tree. It was something like that. I don't remember the exact metric, but there was a clear cost, and not just a monetary cost, but an impact cost to the environment as well. So the reason I raise that is we need to solve for the energy problem. It's also why for example, your Mark Zuckerbergs and your Sam Altmans are always in the Middle East, because they're always looking not just for funding, but for sources of energy as well. So will it have an impact on the cost for us as consumers? It should, but it has to counterbalance with macroeconomics and also the cost of energy.
In fact, a few days
As
ago,
a very quick answer to a very deep question.
a few days ago, we had Dr. Ben on the show from Singularity Net, the father of AGI,
Yeah.
and we did have a deep conversation. And the beauty of everything that is happening now, we believe, I think even I believe that if we don't bring in a universal income, perhaps tax the AI modules, or tax the AI companies heavily.
Yeah, that's a discussion for another time, because the UBI it depends on what kind of future we have in terms of what does universal basic income look like. Because at that point, is that just, am I getting enough food to survive, and then I'm being given credits to keep me entertained? Because historically, what we've seen with every empire that's fallen, it's been directly tied to the economic state of that empire. And it's normally been either because of war or because of revolt. And by revolt, it's people rising up because the standard of living has dropped for too many people below a good enough level or an acceptable level. And in many parts of the world, we're reaching that point as well. So when we talk about UBI, does it come in to, I don't know, to help soften the blow, so to speak? This is what I believe. But let's leave it there. I've really enjoyed this again, so I do thank you so much for having me on the show. And Dr. Ben, I think from ASI, shall I say, we're actually speaking with them next week to see what we could be doing together. We've already had preliminary calls as well. So there's a lot of work being done behind the scenes. The beauty of working at Animoca is access to the ecosystem. I cannot emphasize that enough. And when people talk about what's the secret, or what is the unfair advantage that we have, that's one of our unfair advantages, is the amount of partners and access to distribution. We know the best product isn't going to win, but the best distribution storytelling will. So that's where we're focused.
100%.
But we want a kick-ass product as well, naturally.
See, kick-ass product will keep improving itself, especially with agentic AI, with the loops, right? And I've been a very big believer with all the founders that I've worked, and everybody who's ever told me that, oh no, I will finish my product and then build my community. I'm sure even back in the day you have had these conversations with founders who are thinking of building the community later or doing marketing later. Marketing is the most important part with your product, because remember that you need to build a community that can actually give you immediate feedback, and you can use that feedback to grow it further. Exactly what even the Minds have done. If you would have gone to the legacy platform that most of us in the start used, it was a bit challenging, and now what we see is, wow, like it's so much easier. Just click, and then boom, we are done. So kudos to you, Mo, and kudos to the entire team of Minds. I've said this earlier, and I say it now, that perhaps you're the most non-toxic team members in this space ever, because I've worked with many, and I've seen how amazing that you guys are, from your chairman to to you guys. It is like we get to learn so much from you on every conversation. So guys who are watching us, please go ahead to the Minds. They are giving you a free credits. They are giving you an opportunity to make your life easier. And tomorrow, around the same time, we are going live with a dear friend of mine, Elja Boom, who was actually doxed by CZ. He was one of the earlier investors in BNB. He's got a north of 600K followers on Twitter. A very interesting guy. He again has invested in about 300 odd Web3 crypto projects. So that will be a very interesting conversation in terms of understanding where the Web3 market is headed and what may be our future in crypto. So everyone, thank you so much. Mo, thank you so much for being a part of this. We need to have you back and get an update on what cool things the Minds have built on.
Nice. It's exciting, and I'm looking forward to the episode of Elja tomorrow. Tell him I say hello.
I will. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ali. And thank you to everyone watching at home.